Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. Hey Sister,
Hey,
how you
sister.
doing, girl?
Uh, you keep trying to get me to remember stuff from the beginning of the year, and I'm like, I don't even remember what happened yesterday. So,
Well, it's the halftime. This is the actual, July 1st really marks that halfway point of the year. And although people like, oh, it's June, it's mid year. No, it's not. Really, at the end of June, really, that's when the mid year marker is. And we're here. We're at another mid-year. I feel like we were just ringing in 2023. And but here we are, another mid-year, and it's the halftime show. So it's like we got to talk about what's new, but we also got to talk about some of the greatest hits, right? Um we celebrated Rihanna when she was on the halftime show and
we
all that
did.
she did, right? And so we gotta do like Rihanna. We just gotta come out with some of the hits, have some conversations, and go with the flow. So if you're
We'll
tuned
flow
in
it.
live, we gonna flow it. Go with the flow. If you are watching us live, we thank you for tuning in tonight. We know there's a lot of competition out there, so we appreciate you joining us, joining the show live, also joining the conversation in the comments. That's where the action is. So we hope that you participate with us. If you're tuning in, let us know who's tuning in and where you're tuning in from. Just drop something in the comments now. Let us know. Oh, my sister.
Here I go. I don't want to. I don't need to touch nothing. I was gonna try to share, but last week should have been enough for me not to try to do nothing else.
Girl, you know how listen, we do our best. We gonna do us some tutorials on some of this technology and and then we'll see what happens, right? Because that's all we can do as we kind of continue to grow, evolve, and get better with the tools and the systems that we have available to us. We'll practice. We gotta practice.
We have
Practice.
to practice. Well, yes, share the video to my page and stuff like that so I can hopefully share. One of my friends sent me a tweet that Ice Cube put out today, and
A
so
little
I
tweet, tweet, tweet.
a little tweet, and basically Ice Cube, I guess he's saying that he did his I might get the name wrong, but it was like the contract with Black America or whatever it was called exactly, and he's saying he had something to say about the gatekeepers. And so he's
Hmm.
saying that the NBA, for example, with his Big Three league, he wants them to help, but he's like, not in the sense of actually they need to help me. They just need to stop getting in the way kind of thing.
Mm.
And anyway, so he was saying he's gonna go, I guess, on a tour and have different conversations with folks about the gatekeepers. So I sent him a note and I was like, hey, come on, hey sister, let's talk about the gatekeepers. Because I think we all have had that experience. Specifically being Black women working in corporate America, where it certainly feels, at least, like there's only so far you can go.
Mm.
It's not based on how smart you are, and it's not based on how hard you work. And this idea of a meritocracy really does not exist. So when we talk about gatekeepers, I'm like, yeah, come on, let's have that conversation because we know all about that.
Yes, listen. You know, and one of the things that we learn more and more as we mature is that just because someone holds the key or access to the gate doesn't make them the best, the brightest, or or the most wise tool in that shed, honey. However, it doesn't matter what system that you're in, there are always when you're working in any type of system, doesn't matter what that system you're in, there are always people who want to limit access to others.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's just kind of what the world we live in. But that's not all we want to talk about tonight. So We are
No, we're
gonna
gonna
get
talk
into.
about a lot of things, I'm sure, but I thought that was interesting, and I was like, yep, you know
Well,
what? I hit
since
him
you
up. We'll see
mentioned
what
Twitter,
happens.
and let's talk, talk about you mentioned Twitter, and someone sent it to you. So we left Twitter this year. This is our
We did.
halftime show. Both of us made a decision to close our accounts and sign off of Twitter. And there's still a lot of action. Twitter is still referenced often.
Yes.
Black Twitter is still a thing, but
Mhm.
we made a decision to leave Twitter. So, sister, tell us why you decided. And we did not, we talked about it, but we did not decide together. We individually made these decisions, because I left both my business account as well as personal. So why did you decide to leave Twitter?
Elon Musk.
Okay. Can you elaborate on
I
Mr. Musk?
mean, I could, but I, you know, so number one, before I say why I left Twitter, let me just say this. Shout out to the brothers who started Spill. Jessica told me about Spill. We registered names early on. Right now, it looks like it's only available on the Apple platform. Well, we have Samsung devices, so we would not have that. But just putting it out there so that so creatives know that there are other options. These are brothers who or at least a brother who was at Twitter, and he was one of the many people who was, I believe, let go or decided to walk away based on the new management. It was not
Yeah.
love under new management, it was corporations under new management. And so I left because I feel strongly that Elon Musk is representative of all the things that are a little bit bad with our society.
Hmm.
Number one, sometimes when people have amassed a large fortune, which he has, obviously, as I think now the wealthiest person in the world, when you've amassed such a large fortune, with that comes a lot of responsibility. And I just don't feel like he handled things responsibly from the very start. The way he went in, the way he cut staff. We saw pictures of the woman who was sleeping on the floor because she didn't want to go home, still lost her job. So I don't know why that she did all that.
Hmm.
But God bless her. And it just showed, at the end of the day, going back to gatekeepers who are not always the most equipped to do the job. Just because he could afford to purchase this company didn't mean he needed to be the one running it. And it took him several months and obviously a few slaps in the face before he recognized that. But even now, he's not using the platform for good. And not saying that everything we say, I mean, look, we get on here, we talk foolishness sometimes. I'm not saying that everything you do has to have this altruistic purpose, but at the end of the day, are you causing more harm than good? The fact that there was a spike in the use of the N word and things with racist undertones. And I'm not saying that all the other platforms are better. We stream through Facebook, YouTube. I'm not saying that they're not problematic either, but it just got to the point where it was like, why am I really here? Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I have a space here and he won't miss me. And then, he was getting weird with the ad model and the business model. So yeah. Why did you leave?
Well, I mean, you articulated a lot of things that I also felt. What's interesting though is, and I can drop a link. Okay, I want to make first a. Did I put the right spill in there? Because I want to make sure that's the right spill.
That's exactly what I was checking.
Yeah, please check that and make sure that's the right spill. Because
Yeah,
I
it looks like it's
think,
spill.com.
yeah, I think that's it.
Mhm.
So that's number one. So all the things that you said, this gateway to misogyny, to racism, to sexism, to transphobia, homophobia, all the things. It was like, I don't need to do be here. I enjoy kind of reading some things, following certain shows, being able to live tweet, those entertaining elements. But I don't necessarily need those entertaining elements in my life from what it has devolved to. And what we do know is that we all have an addiction problem, just a little bitty addiction problem to some of these platforms. And it was just a platform that was no longer serving in the way that I thought that it should be serving. Um, he had many, many, many. I mean, we saw the debacle with the Ron DeSantis
Whew.
political announcement. And it was just indicative of, okay, you can pay to be a check mark. You you know anybody can get on and espouse anything. We know that it played a negative role in our last two election cycles with the amount of bots and
Mhm.
misinformation and disinformation that is out there. It was like, if I use it in my juvenile voice, I don't need it in my life. I don't need it in my life. So we left Twitter.
Yeah.
And not saying that we left all social media platforms, and according to this one article that I'm looking at, it says like only like 1.6% wholly abandoned the platform. Um Once he bought it, but that's a few 100,000 people, like 140,000 people.
I mean, it's not a lot, but here's what I also know. I know that there are people who are just I don't want to say voyeurs, but they do believe in staying on the platform just to see what's being said. That's not who I am. Because I guess kind of how we were talking about earlier today. If everybody leaves, if everybody abandons it, then you have no good. You
Mhm.
only have, you know, bad, terrible, offensive, etc. So I can understand that there are some people who are probably taking a position that no, I'm not going to abandon it completely and leave the kids to run amok. I'm going to sow the seeds of truth wherever I go, and I think that's admirable. I just wasn't in the position to do that
Yeah,
because it's hard. I mean,
absolutely.
at this point, even on Instagram and Facebook, there's so many. I don't know if they're all bots, or if it's just and I do, look, if somebody today I
I
got
don't even know
something.
how people create these bots and who manages that. Like, it's astonishing to me that that is still happening, right?
It is, but it is happening. And like today, I got a request. I thought one of my friends maybe had started a new thing, got it, okay, accepted it, and then of course, as soon as they get in my inbox with the hi in the hand wave, I'm like, okay, this is fake, block. And I report it as somebody imitating somebody I know. And more of us need to do that. And I think that, because we have so many of these bots making comments. I was just telling you about a
Mhm.
tragic situation, and you have people who are people who program computers. I don't know how they do it either, but they're getting into the conversation and they are planting seeds of confusion and discontent and just they're being, yes, nefarious
Yes.
behavior. And I just am like, I'm done, honestly. Sometimes I want to get off of all of it and take
Mhm.
a bit of a cleanse, if you will, because it
Mhm.
can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and I agree that the doubt, the biggest thing is about sowing doubt and sowing discontent and sowing distrust and sowing seeds of hatred. So it totally exacerbates and perpetuates that whataboutism. Well, what about this?
Right.
Mm, mm. None of
Right.
that matters. Wrong is wrong.
Like I said, I just
Right.
saw an image of
And absolutely, Jaime, AI will is already making
is
it
making it
worse.
worse. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
already making it worse. So we just,
And I
child.
saw
But
I
we
saw
left
this.
Twitter.
We did. I don't even know if that was this year. Was that this year?
Yeah.
I feel like
It 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 it
he has
he
not just been there for 6 months.
he started it was acquisition was finalized October 2022, and then so it was like the end of the year. Then it was at the beginning of this year that I left.
Mm,
I
okay.
just was like, enough. I'm good.
Right. Okay.
All
Yep.
right. So tonight we are live, and also what is gearing up to be live is the BET Awards, the BET Awards. I have not watched a BET Awards show in I can't tell you how many years now. Because I will say that it is no longer my demographic. Although I see people my age, I think was it last year that they did the new edition Lifetime Achievement Award. It may have been, and when you can watch it the replay on
Mm.
YouTube, you good. Like I mean, because the rest of it, I don't know whose baby, the baby, Lil Baby, Lil Wayne, Lil Yachty, Uzi Vert, Uzi.
I
I
think
don't
you're
know.
old. I mean, I don't know any of these people either, but I don't even feel like they are really the people.
They are. What are you talking about?
No. I know they're real people, but I don't even know that they the people that we would be talking about anyway. Like I feel like they like a few years like like is the baby still relevant?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think you know. I think you just
Yes.
saying because it's
Yes. They
I
got
don't
a
think
whole
he's still relevant.
he is still relevant and he's still making music.
I
Oh
mean,
my
I
gosh.
he
He's got
might be still making music, but I mean, I feel like Lil Nas X is still making music, but I don't know that I consider him necessarily a part of the conversation.
I don't know. Well, y'all tell us what y'all think. It is
Yeah,
these
y'all
some of
tell
the
me.
people I'm telling me, yes, these people are still relevant. Megan the Stallion, she's still
Okay,
relevant.
I didn't say she wasn't. Meg Thee
Cardi
Stallion is
B.
yeah, well, I mean, yes, okay.
All I know is they got
Cardi
all
B is now a mother, a wife. I haven't an album. You know,
Beyonce still nominated.
yes, Beyonce, but Beyonce is on tour right now. Well,
Uh-huh.
my point is, like, Cardi kind of ain't been. I ain't seen or heard from Cardi in a while. So I mean, I don't know. Meg was at least on,
Cardi is
the P
featured
Valley.
on Glorilla, and Glorilla is relevant right now. But do you even know who Glorilla is,
I
sister?
did see something about her the other day. Yes, I did. And I did
Okay.
hear that she was on a Cardi verse or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah.
These people are all
Coco
over.
Jones, you know little Coco
I know
Jones?
Coco Jones from the Bel Air thing.
Okay, but you don't remember her from Disney? You don't remember Coco Jones from Disney?
I didn't until I read about her on Bel Air.
Okay, Lizzo.
Yes, I do know who Lizzo
Look
is.
at it. Best art female artist, R&B pop artist. Ari Lennox, everybody know about Pressure, Beyonce, Coco Jones, her, Lizzo, SZA, and Tim's. And if Tim's don't win as much as we heard that song, then I don't know, child. But we gonna post the nominees for y'all. If y'all getting into it, get on into it. I'ma just tell you, I have not watched the show in a long time, and this best male R&B artist right now, with Chris Brown and Usher still in. See, they still in there, girl, with the weekend. They still in there.
I
That's
know.
people in our era. They still in there.
I
But
know.
I ain't watching the show because I ain't got time. So
I mean, but I guess my whole point is I expect an Usher and a Beyonce to be up to always be a part of the conversation or be a part of the conversation for a long time because they are artists at a very high level. But some of these other folks on the lower, I don't want to call it, if there were stairs, they would probably be on the bottom step very often they become like these one hit wonders, or even if they are beyond one hit, the shine is on them for a very short amount of time because somebody else who has the exact same formula comes out and outshines them.
Mhm.
So or takes their thing and just, you know, so then it becomes very confusing of who's whom in all of this because there's nothing about them that was
And Imma tell you what's gonna be funny, if Jack
extraordinary.
Harlow win this best male hip hop artist.
I
That
don't even know who Jack Harlow is.
oh my gosh, you don't know Jack Harlow? You know Jack Harlow, the fabulous that song.
So we gonna go
Flying
on.
first class.
Oh yes, I know that
Yeah, girl, you
song.
know Jack Harlow. Come on, girl.
Yeah, I know that song, but I didn't know that.
Sister, I'm gonna need you to get up on your
No,
pop culture,
I'm
okay?
not because here's the thing.
I need you to get up on
No,
your pop culture,
no,
okay?
no. It's just like you sent me the thing the other day with the birthday song that changed. Okay, look, we already as a black people decided to sing Stevie Wonder's version of the birthday song. Now you gonna hit me with something else, and then it was stuck in my brain, but thankfully it has been washed away because. Y'all not gonna just up and change the birthday song like as if we ain't been singing happy birthday this way for the last few decades. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't lit. It was cute. I enjoyed it. But what I'm trying to say is I do not feel it necessary to latch on to certain trends.
Okay. Well, honey, I need
I
to
still
find
can
that
listen to a
real.
Prince album. I can still listen to uh Juvenile's 400 Degrees.
Mhm.
I can still listen to hip hop artists that when we were talking the other day about classics, songs that have stood the test of time. Um, I remember being in the room and with my cousin and stopping the cassette to write all the words to I Need Love because why? Culturally, I needed to know all the words. I'm not sure who was going to give a test, but I just felt like I needed to know every word in I Need Love. And we were playing and stopped. Right, play, stop, right, until we knew every word.
Mhm.
There is nobody that I'm excited about doing that for at this point.
Mm.
So, and I don't think the children, maybe my niece would do that for Tyler the Creator, but beyond that, I'm not hearing about. So I'm not going to invest. I'm not investing because if you're not going to be here in the next few months, we again back that thing up. You can play that today,
Mhm. Mhm.
and if you are of a certain age, you will get up.
All the ages get up because it's
Yes.
it's it's 30. It's wait 25 years old next year. It'll hit this. Well, no, I guess
No, it already hit.
yeah. It just made 25, and I am so looking forward to his Tiny Desk. Child, when Tiny Desk airs, I cannot wait. I
Oh,
can.
okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some Tiny Desk. Did you watch Babyface's Tiny Desk?
Well, of course, I posted it like as
Did
soon
you
as it
watch
was.
Charlie Wilson's Tiny Desk?
Yes, girl, of
Okay.
course.
It, it again. Who I don't. Some of these folks I don't have. If you're not doing a Tiny Desk that gets me like this,
I even watched a little bit of Meg the Stallions, but I'm like, but I don't want to be cussed down to the ground by a woman or a man. Like, so I'm
true.
sorry. Like, that's why I kind of was like, okay, girl, you good talking about yourself like that, but child, I do not want to be cussed down and dragged for filth
True.
just because
But
of my mere existence.
I'm just saying that at the end of the day, there are enough folks who have put in the work, who are tried and true, that have hits. I don't need
Hmm.
to invest in some of these other folks. And they not worried about my old tail either. So let's be clear. It's a mutual thing. They are not worried about my old tail listening to, I listened to the little Coy Leroy the other day. She put something out. She got some new music. I said, okay, sis, that was cute. I don't know that I'm going to invest in sis, but I like what she did at least that day.
Yes. Okay, well, listen, if you have not gotten into the Tiny Desk concerts, and Tiny Desk has been around for a long time. So for people, I know a lot of people discovered it during
Clearly,
the
Juvie didn't know what it was.
he did not. And a lot of people discovered Tiny Desk concerts during the pandemic, right? Because everybody was home. And that was so cool when they did it during the pandemic because people did it from their home. So there's some like you can see
I saw Jasmine Sullivan's and Monica's. Monica was from her backyard.
Elder Bard did his from home.
Did.
Um what's my boy? Too Short did his. Not at home, but he wasn't in New York. He was at in a like a studio somewhere in California. And I listen, Tiny Desk is all everything, everything. But I think the thing about the Babyface Tiny Desk that really got me, because when I first saw the clip of it, I was like, wait a minute, is that my girl Shantae? Because Shantae could have her own Tiny Desk.
She really could.
And he had Shantae Moore, Tank, and Avery Wilson as the backup singers. And then now I've seen more people having, Usher had some backup singers who are also artists in their own right, but
Like
not
we would have never got that without the Tiny Desk.
at their level. Yes, and I love Tank and the Bangers. Like there's so
Yes.
many out there, but I just dropped the link in there for Tiny Desk concerts. If you just want to be entertained, have a good time, listen to some music. Um yes, and people have been asking about a Sade Tiny Desk. Now that would be
Listen, let me tell y'all something. I saw Sade in concert.
mhm,
Look, y- Sade don't be doing all them backflips. She ain't
mm-mm.
got all them props.
She ain't naked.
She ain't naked.
Mm-mm.
She still looks the same.
Hmm.
And she sounds like her albums. And I saw her in Los Angeles in the Staples Center. Uh yeah. I absolutely get Sade on a Tiny Desk.
Hmm.
Please and thank you.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
But sister, so speaking of Tiny Desk, I just something that came to mind this past week, girl. Because even they reported it on the Good Morning America, child. The legends, the little baby face and the little Nita Baker had a little bit of beef, child. We didn't even get into.
I didn't want to talk about auntie and uncle like that. Because we all have them in our family. If you have them in your family, just drop in the comments. All you got to do is an emoji, thumbs up, a nodding head, a yes, a side eye, whatever emoji you want. We all have them aunties and uncle in our family. The ones who want to start stuff. But now Babyface has announced he gonna go on do his own tour now, and he gonna get on off that
Well, no,
because
she put him off.
well, I know she put him off, and then there were so many comments about, well, why would she put him off and whatever. And I was like, yeah, why are they beefing? I don't think they beefing. I think she's beefing.
No, okay. So what happened
What
was
had happened was what?
apparently the people were because so there was one show where Babyface didn't even perform. And Anita was late. Babyface didn't perform, and so he I think did post about that. Many people were saying, wait, like they were going to this concert to see Babyface,
Mm.
and so the issue was that Anita then kind of was like, he is I
The
forgot
opening
the
act.
yeah, but she said basically like secondary. He is not the main attraction here. And so of course his fans got offended by the way she stated it. I'm not I don't even have the exact quotes. If we can get the exact quote that she had, that's fine. But basically her whole point was contractually he is not the main attraction.
Hmm.
So he is a paid guest on this concert. His fans got upset.
Hmm.
Apparently, they got a little rowdy body about it with her, or at least that's how she interpreted some of their comments to her. Again, I
Hmm.
think all this was on Twitter. If we would just get off of Twitter, we wouldn't have to worry about all
If
this.
we
But
get off of Twitter, and then, like you said, the number of bots and those that make these stories go amplify them and go higher and respect people, right?
right. And so
We
she
might have not had
basically
this.
might not have had it. And so basically she was like, can they call off your fans? They're threatening me, they're da 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 da. So ultimately, she removed him from the show and he thanked her. And of course, look, in at least from what I saw on Instagram, in the court of public opinion, I'm sure people would say he showed himself to be the classier person. He did not match her energy, so to speak. But we don't know what happened or what was said behind closed doors. I do know though that I've never seen Anita in concert. I have heard different things. I've
I
not
have.
seen her. I know you have. I have seen Babyface in concert. I have
I've seen
thoroughly
him too.
enjoyed every time. I've seen him more than once. I've thoroughly enjoyed every time. So I possibly would be one of those people who would go for Babyface, stay for an Anita song or two. So, but it would be hard for me to just say I'm gonna go for just an Anita concert. That's me personally. Um,
That's me
just me
personally.
personally.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna just
Yep.
leave it there. That's just me personally.
Yep.
so so Rosalind has said what others might not want to say.
Mm. That's hilarious. I've seen Anita in concert. She shouldn't go after anyone who's upbeat. Okay. I saw her after Uncle Charlie for Essence Fest. And I saw her after the Isley Brothers won Essence Fest. That was a mistake.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we know Angel, we know Sweet
Baby,
Love,
we
we
know,
know.
listen, bottom line is we know all the songs.
But
We
my
know
point is,
all of
all
their
of them
songs.
are love songs, and yes, it is hard for her to come after Anita. I don't really just had no bops like that. Not like she got hits, but she ain't got nothing that you really gonna pluck your fingers and do a two-step on. It's all love songs, basically. So you
And
just got to be
Kenny
prepared for
just
that.
does all the songs that he wrote, and he wrote everybody's songs in the
Songs.
90s, everybody's songs in the early 2000s. And so because he did, child, you like, who concert we at? Like, is this Bobby Brown? Is this New Edition? Wait a
Is
minute,
this
who is
Kevin
this? Is this
Campbell? Is
Devin
this
Campbell? Is this Usher concert? Like,
right?
who concert is this? Because is this Madonna? Is this is who is concert? And you can see
Everybody who
that
was
from
on
his
Waiting
time
to
and death.
Exhale.
Mary J. Blige, is it Whitney Houston concert? Like, because when Babyface performed, you like, well, damn, you wrote
The
everybody's
Whispers.
songs.
Yeah.
TLC, the West, you name it. If you the 90s and 2000s, if you name a hit, he wrote it. Kenny wrote it, and
Right.
so his show just is
But when
indicative of that.
people suggested that he should get the deal, he should get After Seven and himself. That right there,
Mhm.
I'm there. I am at that
Mhm.
concert.
Mhm.
Trust and believe, because yes, After
Mhm.
Seven, the deal, and Babyface.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
After Seven in between, so you have time to rest, Kenny.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another anticipated album. Andre 3000 is supposed to be dropping an album soon. Now, Andre ain't been out in a minute. What you
Well,
think about this?
Killer Mike said he's on his new album, Michael. I was just listening to his interview on the Breakfast Club, and
He's
he said,
featured on several. He's still been
yeah,
doing features, absolutely, but a whole album because
I'm here
again, the
for it all day,
last.
every day.
Uh huh.
I'm here for it all day,
Hmm.
every day. First of all, let me tell you something. They've been telling I was unaware about the flute situation, so I'm late. But
Hmm.
I want to run up on Andre 3000 playing the flute anywhere because that would change my whole life. Because
Well,
I
him
ain't
and
know.
Lizzo could do a whole
And
flautist.
I was thinking that too. I was like,
Come on,
how
y'all.
have him and Lizzo not done a flautist collaboration?
Yes, honey. A flautist collaboration would be fabulous. Andre 3000 and Lizzo. Oh, that would be fab. And go back to the archives and get out what's it, John Quincy Adams flute and play it again and let the people heads explode. How
So,
about
right.
that? That happened too this year.
Right.
Hmm.
But no, yeah, if Andre 3000 Three Stacks come out with a album, I'm here for it.
It should be good because and so this is the thing, you and I were talking about this earlier, and as you were talking about who some of the people nominated for the BET Awards, and we talked about when we talked about our visit to the motherland about having something to say,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And if you're an artist and in your entertainment, when you have that platform, it's cool to just talk about fun every now and because we want to have fun, we want to have a good time, we want to have some escapism, but so much of what we hear is not even good social commentary any longer. It is not about educating, it is not about uplift, it is not to make you think critically, because that was one of the things that was like, especially his, but also just Outcast in general. Um, that was their brand, is to make you think. And I know that he is a deep thinker, so I'm looking forward to hearing how he puts it in words. I hope he and Kendrick Lamar have a collaboration, because both of them are men who have things to say that matter, and I want to hear those voices cut through this clutter out here of sexing, and we sexing, and I'm the best in bed, and I got the most money even though you broke. I got the biggest house even though it's a lease or owned by the record label or owned by the television show that you are working on, because a lot of these reality things, all of that stage, none of this shit is real. So
I would love for him to be he and a Rhapsody or a Mumu Fresh to do something together. I think that would be awesome because to your point, there are a lot of artists who have a lot of there are women artists who are not just what's your saying? It's your song, spin his cream, sawdust,
Deuce
and
and
ski.
scheme, girl. Hey, honey, seduce and scheme ain't but none but the city girls. I don't know what y'all talking about. Okay.
Well, yeah, it is, and the
And
city
if y'all
girls
don't know
are
about seducing and scheming, that was a show. It's just called Max. It was HBO Max. It's a show that was done by Issa Rae called Rap Shit, and that was their hit, Seduce and Scheme, honey. And there's a whole lot of seducing and scheming going on. That's all I want to tell y'all. Okay.
it's a lot, but I don't know that everybody who think they the one doing the seducing and scheming is actually doing the seducing and scheming. Some of them
Some
are getting
people being seduced and schemed.
schemed.
How about that?
Exactly.
Oh, oh my Lord. All right. So again, this is our 2023 halftime show. We are going to be going on our summer hiatus, taking a break in the months of July, August. Come back to you with some more conversations and content a little bit later, because y'all know it's family reunion season. It's class reunion season. I'm tired and I want to go on a little bit of a vacation, summer programs. There's so much happening, right? And honey, we gonna take us a little hiatus. So this is our halftime show, and we're just talking about some of the things that are coming up for this year, things that are happening right now, and also some of the things that we've already talked about earlier this year. Now, last week we had our Father's Day conversation, and we really did not get into, I think I posted something about it. We might have said something about the Ocean Gate submersible. They were awaiting, I think last Sunday, it was like they had until Monday morning, whether the oxygen was going to run out. They found a debris field Monday, and now saying that it imploded. What's very interesting is I was always suspect from the beginning. Like, so I posted something, and tongue in cheek, because it's kind of a social commentary. But I was like, okay, if y'all want to give somebody $250,000, y'all could support my business over here, right? Or if you want to throw some money, like y'all thought, like people throwing money at Donald Trump. I ain't never been convicted of no crime now. Or if and I never used my daddy good name to give me a job making money that for stuff that I ain't know nothing about, like Hunter Biden. So we got some good people out here that's doing good things. Can we support them instead of this foolishness? But I'm not gonna tell people how to spend their money. This is a tragic situation and circumstance, but it was also so predictable because of the level of hubris and arrogance and of the CEO and many others. To say safety, we shouldn't be concerned with safety, and we taking people how I mean, you got to get safety certified to just go scuba diving. So, bruh, what? I don't know. What's your thoughts on the submersible system?
I mean, okay. Okay. Let me take a moment to try to be serious about this situation. So first of all, they said I just saw something about the one of the writers or whatever from the Simpsons said that he went
Mhm.
down there 3 times, and apparently there was a show about it. So as somebody said, I just need to watch the Simpsons to know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Apparently,
And
um,
the director James Cameron, who did the
Avatar, the Way of
Avatar, he
Water,
did the Titanic
Titanic,
movie
right?
actually, and he was very clear that this fiber composite vessel is not titanium. Like the vessels I go in is titanium. And I told my husband, I was like, look, if the last name ain't Cousteau, I probably ain't gonna go on your ship, under the water. And if y'all don't remember John Cousteau, like the Cousteau family been doing this for a long time. If you ain't a Cousteau, I probably ain't going on your vessel. Okay? I'm just saying.
It sounds like the guy from The Simpsons said he went on it. And I'm guessing that they absolutely did no repairs since he went on it. Like they kept submersing the same vessel, it seems, underwater, under these harsh conditions and expecting it to not have cracks in the exterior and things like that. It's a tragic situation for various reasons. Uh, I do not think that I would spend $250,000 to do that. I think that there was so I had to look at it again because somebody made the point that there were no windows. So there was a really small little circular window in the front, and then I saw the camera. And so I'm assuming that it projected images on the inside. Um, it seems like a very horrible way to die. Even though the implosion itself might have been quick, um, just the thought. And look, like they said, you sign away waivers. Look, I went skydiving before. You watch the video. They tell you over and over and again that you could die. So that is understood. That is a risk that you assume. I did it once. I don't know that I need to ever do it again.
You even did ballooning.
I did hot air ballooning too. Yes. The difference
Y'all,
is though,
she like to take risks. Y'all see that?
the difference is though, again, as I was listening to one bit of news coverage about it, from a legal standpoint, people say you sign these waivers, so you've signed away any rights that you have, and it's like that's not completely true because the companies, you can't waive away your responsibility to act responsibly. So if a company, for example, knows that the craft, their submersible has cracks in the exterior or is otherwise damaged, they should have disclosed that information
Mhm.
to the people who were signing up for $250,000 a pop. Um, I can go on a hot air balloon and if some tragedy befalls me that the company had nothing to do with, unfortunately, there's not much because I assumed those risks. But you can't put me in an a balloon that
They got a
has
hole
a
in it.
tear in it. Yes, exactly. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. I could find a lot of other things to do with $250,000. I'm claustrophobic, so I would never do anything like that anyway. Um, I hope it, people have said the quote unquote positive spin is they died doing something that they love. I hope
Mhm.
that was genuinely what it was, because I don't need to see a shipwreck. I have gone snorkeling in Aruba. I could look down and see, oh, okay, they got an old ship down there. I don't need to get no closer to it. I can see it. I see it right there. Like it,
Mhm.
that's me. I don't know what they were hoping to see, but I guess also too many of my ancestors didn't have an option.
Too many of my ancestors chose the ocean.
Yes, in the words of Killmonger, yes,
Mm.
what did he say? Kill me at seas, to be with my. I can't remember the quote. The point is, some chose, some had no choice, but at the end of the day, there are a there are a lot of souls that were lost to the ocean, and they didn't get the opportunity
Right.
to s- decide to spend $250,000 to in
And we even saw
comfort
that
in
when
like
we
that.
went to the Cape of Good Hope, when we went to the edge right before you get the edge of Africa before you can take off for Antarctica, about the number of shipwrecks
Mhm.
and people trying to navigate those waters, and the number of vessels lost centuries, right, as ago. And so it's just very interesting. Well, I will say this: we do have some breaking news coming in. Coco Jones won for Best New Artist at the BET Awards. So shout out to Coco Jones. We love her. We love the role she plays on Bel Air. And so woo woo, go Coco. I ain't mad at it, girl.
Me either.
So
Awesome.
let's see, a couple more things. It is still hip hop is turning 50. Hip hop is celebrating its jubilee just like me. There's a lot that's happening out there in these hip hop streets. There's a documentary or kind of a show that Angie Martinez produced that's showing on Hulu right now. We know that the Sirius XM is having their cruise. Now, after we done talked about being submerged, I don't know about going on a cruise.
Mm.
I don't know if you saw this cruise ship that left Port Canaveral here just a couple weeks or a couple days ago when the weather was we've had an unusually early rainy season, and it's not just been normal rain, so we know it's climate change, right? And these thunderstorms every day. I don't know if you saw that,
I
where
didn't. I saw that
girl,
there have been a lot of tornadoes,
on
and
the
stuff.
deck, honey, the umbrellas flying across. People was out, like you see people they filming through they room, filming the people who outside on they being tossed down the walkway. It's a mess, honey. I'm gonna have to send that to you. But anyway, hip hop is turning 50 this year. What's your favorite hip hop memory?
My favorite hip hop memory? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Ah, that's that's a lot. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
Well, I'm
like.
gonna give you my favorite hip hop memory.
Will you give me yours and I'll think about it?
I will say my favorite hip hop memory is going to my first concert. And that was when they used to have Budweiser Superfest. So I don't know if I'm aging and dating myself, but honey, Budweiser Superfest. And it was Dougie Fresh, Houdini, and LL Cool J. Okay, and we went to the Lakefront Arena. Yes, honey, that's all I'm telling you. You in no Lakefront Arena. I was 12, and I'll just say that's when I already knew I was in love with LL Cool J. That's when I really fell in love with LL Cool J. And I loved Houdini. And and I was able to meet Houdini some years later when I was in college and when they was performing at Whispers. I'm gonna just leave that alone. Y'all know nothing about that. Shutting up
I
now.
met them a few years ago, and I took a picture. Um, I can't. I'm now
Jalil and
blanking on
Ecstasy
Ecstasy. Yes, with Ecstasy, and then
before
of
he
course
passed.
him passing away shortly thereafter. That is a hard question for me. Like in the movie Brown
Brown
Sugar, I
Sugar.
don't know when I fell in love with hip hop. I've been in love with hip hop for a long time. I do remember when one then called Common Sense came out with his song I Used to Love Her. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like not really that much of a fan of his because I just felt like, but it would be years later where it really struck me. It was like one of those things where it hit me one day, even though he tells us who he's talking about, right?
Hmm.
It just took that level of getting to a place of maturity to understand and seeing this evolution now and being where we are now and seeing where hip hop is. I remember how challenging it was for artists like MC Hammer when he first did that Taco Bell commercial. He was attacked by the masses for being a sellout, for being trying to commercialize hip hop. And today it's like Snoop Dogg is selling sketches and beer. It's amazing to me. It's amazing, I remember when NWA first came out. And even though at the time we were a bit tangential to it, having relatives in South Central Los Angeles, so we even saw some of the evolution of that area.
Hmm.
And so to then see this power struggle that I don't know that we even knew existed when we first went out there, but to see that over the years, um it's so there were just all these different, I guess, pivotal moments over the years of seeing the evolution of hip hop that has just made me love it, but also be simultaneously frustrated that
Hmm.
this is, such an important medium, and yet it's not. Sometimes we have the ear of the world, and we're not saying anything. And yes, I love, Jaime, Fat Boys, seeing them in the movies and just thinking like these kids are, the house party, the first house party, the real house party. This is whatever this mess is that they didn't put out now is
Well, no, we
trash,
gonna stop at
travesty.
House Party 2, cause once we got
I'm
past them, I mean, really 1,
I'm gonna start at that, just
stop
house
there. We're gonna
party.
start and
That's it.
stop, right? Cause
But
once we
seeing
kept
that
going,
on stage, I mean, not on stage, on the movie screen, seeing these black kids having fun and experiencing, the dance scene and all of that stuff. Yeah, like there are those moments where you can remember. Again, I have the Fat Boys album. I have, you know, these albums that UTFO. I don't know why I was really listening to Roxanne all the time, but I was. And and then as R&B and hip hop started to fuse together,
merge.
because I became, at one point I became a member of New Edition. No one knows that they didn't add my name to any of the
I could do
songs.
the second one too, but that I mean, but 3 and 4, because once we got to having, what was their name at the time? I don't know what Marquise Houston them name was,
You
their
know,
little group
immature.
name.
Oh, IMX.
Oh yeah, when they were in the house party 4, we was all over by that
Even
time,
when they
all
went to
over.
college, I mean, because the whole thing with Queen Latifah and old girl, that was weird and random as well. But yeah, again, Higher Learning, Boys in the Hood, like all the movies that
But
sprung out.
let's talk about why they was
Oh,
trying to have Sheila E. rapping in Crush Groove. Okay, I'm just
man,
gonna not.
okay, yeah, you done went back. Hold on now.
Beat Street, the
Now
name
Beach Street. And then
that
just breaking. I wanted to be the little white girl to learn the. I wanted to mix before Julia Stiles and whatever that mess she did. Like there was somebody put that on social media. I have to have a conclusive thought, y'all. I'm sorry. But somebody who put Julia Stiles that dance that she did. And they were like,
Save the Last Dance.
say the last, they
Oh,
were like, no way she got in Juilliard with this basic dance.
yes, ma'am.
But yes,
Electric Boogaloo.
but
Oh my God.
Turbo and Shabadoo and
God
all,
rest his soul. Shabba-Doo passed away too.
I wanted to definitely learn how to pop, and like I said, I wanted to be the white girl in dance battle back then. Before now, dance battling is just so intricate.
It's a little
But
interesting.
yes, I mean Beach Street. Oh my gosh, because Polar Ramon.
I
Like, let's talk about
know.
Ramon. Come on.
Like, listen,
Ramon would be 75 right now.
he would not be
Life
75
has passed me by,
because he
y'all.
was only like 19 or 20 at
So he
that
was
point.
19 or 20. If hip hop is 50,
Well, that was in the 80s. So then if you add 40 years, he might be 60. He might be the same age as Curtis Blow,
which is
which who was in the movie.
how old is
And
Curtis Blow in
let me
real life?
find out. Let me see.
Curtis Blow
Curtis
age
Blow is
63.
63.
So
And
not
then
70, 63.
let's see how old is Chuck. I think Chuck D is close to that as well. Chuck
Oh,
D is
yeah.
62.
Yeah. Okay,
Let me see.
Ramon.
KRS-One. How old is KRS-One? He was in that. He's
He was real
57.
young though when he
Yeah,
was in there.
he's 57. And then
When did Beach Street come out? Beach Street,
uh and D
1984.
Nice is 53. So, he was there. He was a 16-year-old fresh face thing. What you said,
That doggone
1984?
yeah, Ray Dong Chong, Carol. Come
Ray
on.
Dong Chong. If y'all don't know her daddy from Cheech and Chong, we got a few more
Okay, I'm
BET
sorry.
awards. Tiana Taylor won for video director of the year. Tigger and E40 performed for a 50-year tribute to hip hop, since we were talking about hip hop at 50. And not only was Boosie at the BET Awards, he also brought his attorneys with him.
Yeah, they had to come. That's why he was asking for 3 tickets because his
Mhm.
attorneys had to be there with him.
Boo said we told you last week. Sit down. All
He
right,
is.
I'm
He's
a.
sitting down at the BET Awards.
Well, look, since we at this we did want to talk about this for a second. Hold on, what you
I'm
say?
laughing at Darius about how do we remember all this. Girl, how do you not remember Ramon and Beach Street? Because
Well,
it was
no. Okay, so hold on. Since
tragic.
she came on here, she better remember she and I, like y'all trying to learn that Tamia dance, baby. We was doing that One Love dance from Houdini. That One Love,
One
One
love,
Love.
one love.
You look at just
Let's
have
just
just
have
one
just
love.
one.
Yes. Now don't forget your roots. Now you cannot forget your roots, my sister. I love you, my sister. You cannot forget your roots. Child, we
Because
learned that
Ramon died so tragically. I'm sorry, I got to keep going back to it. It was like
because
he was just getting his little painting together.
he was trying to do, and what was his name? Spitz
The
was
man
messing up
kept
his
tagging his
tags.
stuff.
Mm,
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 mm.
mm. That's a shame. That
Mhm.
was 84. So I was all of 7 and I was this had made an impression on my life, but
Yeah.
okay. So sorry. Got off track.
We, it is political season once again, which I don't think we ever out of political season. I swear to you, I'm tired of it all. But there was one, y'all know this woman, Nimrata Haley, who's running for president, who had something to say about. I'm gonna drop it here. Let me see if I can share it on the screen with y'all so y'all can see. Because like I said, we off Twitter, but we gotta share these things with y'all. But she had something to say about forever president, one Barack Obama. And it says Barack Obama set minorities back by singling them out as victims instead of empowering them. In America, hard work and personal responsibility matter. My parents didn't raise me to think that I would forever be a victim. They raised me to know that I was responsible for my success. What say
So
you,
first of
sister?
all, Nimrata is out here talking about racism no longer exists. She wrote a whole op-ed or something. First of all, girl, if racism didn't exist, you would not be referring to yourself as Nikki. Just like Payush wouldn't have called himself Bobby. At the end of the day, you obviously feel like there is some capital in being white adjacent.
Mhm,
That's A.
mhm.
B, from what the people told me, your father worked at an HBCU. Do you not know the history of HBCUs and why they came into existence in the first place? You
Mm.
can't tell me that systemic racism is not a direct contributor to why
Both
we have
she and Tim Scott from South Carolina
Carolina.
are pushing this BS. Now, where there was more people dropped off in South Carolina than any other port in these United States of America, I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, if I were Barack, let me tell you, Barack is a special guy. We say it all the time because by now I would be like Will Smith. Keep my name, not my wife's name, my name
And my wife's name.
and my wife's name
Keep
out
them
your
both out your
mouth.
mouth. Hmm.
Barack Obama is like, I ain't been the president for 7 years now.
Hmm.
Why is y'all still talking about me? You mean to tell me if you truly believe that racism didn't exist,
Hmm.
you wouldn't even need to bring me up?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But you obviously keep calling my name
Hmm.
to try to make a point that does not exist because you have a failed campaign and abysmal numbers right now. You can't even beat the man you used to work for who got charges right now, like buku charges.
Who got not just charges but a conviction in a civil matter for
Right.
sexual assault and defamation, and since he been running his mouth, the woman can do another defamation case against him and she's filing charges again.
So it's like, I'm not gonna call you. I'm gonna call you Nimrata. That's what your mom and daddy named you. Nimrata. You might have been the governor of South Carolina, but if racism didn't exist, your polling numbers, yours and Tim Scott's wouldn't be where they are right now. You're polling so terribly because you are an Indian woman trying to run in the Republican Party. And the current state of the Republican Party says we would rather support one, two white men than support you. I don't care how hard you worked. I don't care what degrees you have. I don't care how long you've been a legislator. It doesn't matter.
Well, you talked about gatekeepers earlier, so that clearly you haven't broken through to the right, the gatekeepers. That's A. B, I'm not gonna, not the racism, but her tweet specifically about Barack Obama making minorities feel
Like victims.
victims. Let me just say this. I have never felt like a victim, but I do understand the realities of the society in which I live, of the systems in which I was brought up under. I've never felt like a victim. I always knew that my hard work and effort would pay off, but I also knew it meant that I would be paid less than white men because I'm a woman and I'm a black woman. Now, if we can't deal with the realities of a society, that doesn't make me a victim because I acknowledge what is real and what is true and what is factual and what is backed up by data. Like, we're not making this stuff up. There is data upon data upon data upon data to show that these things are factual evidence. So that doesn't make someone a victim because they acknowledge what is real. I
Right.
mean, like, I'm sorry. And so, as some people commented, did you ask any black people? Because we not. First of all, ain't nothing minor about us. We're not minorities. Actually, we're the global majority. Shout out to
Mhm.
Karen Hunter and the Karen Hunter Show. That's A. B. Women are 51.1% of the U.S. population. We're not a minority. We're actually a majority. So, what I would ask is that we start acting as such and have the confidence as such and move in ways where we support and grow one another. And we won't have to listen to people like Nimrata or anybody else who are trafficking in these tropes. Because
Well,
no, nothing Barack Obama did ever made me feel like a victim. Actually, it was aspirational and inspirational about what you can achieve.
mhm.
And
Well,
everything he's done since then has reinforced that.
right, and let me be fair, because the people say she didn't change her name. Nikki is her middle name. However, I think it's very convenient that you choose to go by your middle name, and yes, you're married to a man whose last name is Haley. I just think it's convenient. It also, you speak about being victims. Like, yeah, what poll did you do that suggested that? Let's see, black people, gay people. I'm trying to think of any groups that Barack Obama might have made to feel like victims. Um, Women. I don't know.
But let's be
People who don't.
clear.
My point is, I'm being facetious, but my point is, who did you speak to that told you that they felt like a victim and that somehow it was Barack Obama's fault?
But let me be clear. The policies in which she and those of her party supports does victimize people. We have a woman in Florida who was forced to carry a child to term that did not have kidneys. And as soon as that baby was born, had to hold that child as it gasped for life and die in her arms because of the policies that she, one Nimrata Nikki Haley, and people of her ilk support.
Right.
There was a woman in Texas who was trying to get pregnant, as she said, went through in vitro, was doing all the things. And I might be confusing up the actual the issues with the women. Y'all could look up the stories for yourself. But a woman who, when she was starting to lose that child because she was losing amniotic fluid, they were like, oh well, it still got a heartbeat, girl, you just going to go home and wait.
Home. Yeah. She had
You
to
have to
go
go
home
home and wait until you in sepsis, which means she was about to die.
before she could come back to the hospital.
So all I'm going to say is Barack Obama didn't make me feel like no victim, but your policies that you perpetuate, banning books, removing certain things out of schools, not allowing teachers to teach, no, what you're doing is victimizing. Know the difference, ma'am.
Victimizing and oppressing, because now that, as people have noted to her, your father and your parents were immigrants, right? So same policies that allowed them to come here to get a quote unquote better life, you're trying to deny to other immigrants. Your father was a professor at an HBCU. You have one, affirmative action right now is being legislated again. You have voting rights acts, that has still not, the John Lewis Voting Right Act still not passed. You have um I was just about to say, oh, this the state of Texas saying everything DEI related in public schools and in the state of Texas is going to be
State of Texas,
removed.
state of Florida, all of both, and if that man went in Louisiana,
Louisiana.
there too.
Yes, yes, you have the black maternal mortality rate that is abysmal compared to white women. So, you know, to pretend that you had, what bothers me about a lot of people like Nimrata, like Payush, like Ted Cruz, or I'm sorry, let me call his real name. Raphael, is it?
Raphael. Mm-hmm.
What bothers me about you all is you climb the ladder and you kick it out from up under yourself. And then you pretend that you got there by yourself.
Come on.
That's what bothers me about you all.
Mm-hmm.
You climb the ladder, you kick it out, and you say, why can't you be more like me?
Mm-hmm.
Because my parents taught me to be successful,
And social and personal
responsibility.
responsibility.
And so why can't you be more
And
like
my
me?
parents taught me that too, chick.
Yeah, my parents did teach me that, but they didn't teach me that and say, but pretend that racism is not a real thing. Pretend sexism is not a real thing. Pretend homophobia is not a real thing. Pretend Islamophobia is not a real thing. They taught us all of those things too, but they did not tell us to pretend that we live in a perfect union.
Mm-hmm. It's a mess out here. Well, one more
Yes.
thing before we wrap up our mid-year, our 2023 halftime, and I know we're a little over. So if you're hanging with us, you are tuned in live to Hey Sister. We thank you for hanging with us and
Thank
and,
you.
and hanging in
Yes.
a little longer. Um, let's talk
By the
about
way, there's
what are
still
you
a war going on, by the way. I just also, because we
child, there's
still
still
keep
a
getting
war
money.
going on. There's still a war going on in Ukraine. We clowning here, China is clowning, and we clowning back with China. Um, so don't get that twisted. Both of us is clowning. Uh, it's a lot going on in these global world. Beyonce is on her world tour, and I know buku's people who is going across that water to go see Beyonce. Girl, they not breaking their soul, but they show breaking the bank. How
But
about
they
that?
not. I don't know that they breaking the bank. Again,
Actually,
Nimrata
people
that
say it
told
was
you.
cheaper for them
Yeah, a
to
lot of
go
people say,
over
yeah,
to see her than it was to try to get a ticket here.
yeah. That's why I know someone who's going to Canada next. Because Canada, I saw some folks went across the ocean, like you said. So yeah, I guess they maybe their parents raised them to know that they were responsible for their own success too, and they
Mm.
have money to go and do
And they're
those
not
things.
victims because they
And-
traveling. They
right.
outside.
Yes. But anyway,
Anyway,
I'm sorry. Oh, what are
all
you
right.
watching?
What are you watching? So, there's a lot that's on TV right now. Listen, let me tell you something. When we had Charnel Brown on, it's probably been almost 2 years now when we had her on.
Oh, it was 2020 one, because it was I mean 2022, because it was my 25th.
Okay, so it's been a year.
Hmm.
And she
10 years.
told us about Tubi. We didn't know
Yes.
about Tubi at that time, child. Tubi everywhere now. Child, people is looking at these shows and movies on Tubi, and Tubi got some movies. Okay, if you want to watch some free TV, y'all get y'all download that Tubi app. But nonetheless, to what I'm watching right now, what I've already binged watched was the second season of The Bear, which I absolutely love. It is a
Uh-oh. I don't hear you, sister.
uh-oh.
Okay, I hear you now. Go ahead.
All right, my Wi-Fi must have did a little something.
Mm.
They be talking about how good Spectrum is, but I ain't gonna say nothing, y'all. Don't cut me off, okay? Um, The Bear on Hulu. Just binge watch that. Absolutely love it. It is phenomenal. And I will say, if you haven't watched it yet, there's one episode that is longer than all the other episodes, kind of like this one here tonight, that is stacked with guest appearances. And all of the people who are guests appearing will probably be nominated for an Emmy as a guest appearance. That's how good that episode was. So if you've not watched The Bear, it is about a struggling restaurant, a struggling family restaurant. Absolutely love it. It's great. The acting is phenomenal. The lead actor, I can't remember his name, but he played on Shameless,
Okay.
and he played the Lip. He played that brother, and he kills it. It is like the best show. So that I'm
I
watching
still
the
gotta watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna start right after we leave this show.
all right, The Bear is
Mhm.
phenomenal.
I
So
think I
second
said that
season of
before.
that we watch. Obviously I have a teen daughter, so I had to watch the final season of Never Have I Ever, um,
Never have I ever heard of it.
on
I heard of
Netflix.
the game, but I haven't heard of this.
Yes, never have I ever. And one of my friends and I, we were just talking about how we love all of the I love the Indian Matchmaker, and
Yes.
we lost Anna Shay from Bling Empire. So like all of those little reality shows on Netflix, you know, learning about other people and other cultures and how people live and their experiences is always very insightful and enlightening to me. But we mentioned Tiana Taylor earlier. There's a movie 1001 that she stars in as well that's gotten a lot of buzz, and I it's on Peacock. You can actually watch it on Peacock. It's phenomenal. She knocks it out the park.
Well, I
So
mean, I just want to be Tiana Taylor when I grow up because clearly she doing everything. She's choreographing, she's directing music videos, she acting, she doing it all.
she acts, she dances, she sings, she
Right. Well,
directing.
I mean, those were the obvious things. I'm
She's a
sorry.
creative
She is definitely a
and
creative.
has all the creative chops,
Yes.
the bona
And
fides. So
uh yeah.
those
Well,
are some of the things I'm watching, and we had some great movies this year as well.
you are
We
watching a lot, sister.
I
Yeah,
am. You know
this is
why? Because
nobody
I've been
getting.
dog paddling in the ocean lately because my brain hasn't been able to get focused fully in the past few weeks. But some of these things I have watched over months because these all didn't come out at the same time. So just FYI over that. But we did take an opportunity to go to the movies to see The Blackening.
Oh, I want to see that, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yes. If you haven't seen The Blackening, please go support it. It is in that horror genre kind of let's say scary movie genre. And then the whole theme, the tagline of the movie is we all can't get
Can't die
killed first.
first. Yeah, I saw that, which was why I was like, oh yeah, I gotta see. I mean, it was funny from what I saw from
Yeah.
the trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it's funny, it's thought provoking, and it has some good laughable moments, but it also is a good social commentary on what it means to be black. What does that mean?
All right. Well, that's a whole nother episode. Hey
Mm.
sister, I will just say I just saw the Little Mermaid the other day. Shout out to Halle Bailey and congratulations to her for overcoming a lot. I've obviously watched that movie quite a lot. I had a cousin who lived with us when we were growing up and watched that movie for every day for quite some time. So I knew most of the music.
Mhm, mhm.
Um and no, but I mean I remember the storyline and everything. It was done really well. I looked up about it, so it's made like over 400 something million. It cost about 250 million to make. So I was like, all right, cool. Always on the plus side. That's what matters. And of course, amid a lot of backlash. I even heard that there was somebody who had a problem with Eric being white and the mermaid being black and they had jungle fever. I was like, well, first of all, it's not jungle fever because it's in the ocean. But second of all, uh that is as this was supposedly Umar Johnson having a problem with it. That is just as silly as all the people who were like, a mermaid can't be black. Nope, a mermaid is not in existence. So guess what? They can be anything, you know, because people can't breathe underwater unaided. You know, I really appreciate it as Disney has been found to do over the last several years. You know, Ariel's sisters represented the global community.
Mhm.
Okay. So I was like, all right, shout out. But again, it's not likely they had the same mom and same dad. And you have an Indian sister, a white sister, a black sister, African American sister. It's like not likely unless they're all adopted.
Mhm.
But of course, it represented the different oceans or what have you.
Mhm.
I thought they did a good job. Um, of course, I wanted to support it because I just thought it was foolish that people really had problems with there being a brown mermaid. It really did not change the story at all. She still had Scuttle, her friend. She still had um the little
Sebastian.
Sebastian. She still had the other one, the little
But
crab.
here's the thing, what blows my mind. We been here. The cradle of civilization is on the continent of Africa. So why would a mermaid not have some melanin? I'm just saying.
Scuttle, Flounder, and Sebastian. Sebastian. It's like again, you have a crab friend that talks, you have a bird friend that talks, a seagull friend
Seagull
that
friend that
talks,
talks.
and a fish friend that talks. It's like guys,
It
it's
ain't
all
real.
make believe.
It's fairy tale. It's fantasy.
Yes.
Mm.
But the lesson which you should hopefully have gotten is about your voice, using your voice.
Mm. Come on
And
with it.
not always giving up things that are important to you because you think there's something greater, better over there.
Mhm.
Like, figure out the lesson in these things and stop getting tripping off of somebody who. Now, I will say, when she turned back into the mermaid, they had a crack sound. I was like, ooh, geez. Even though I know nobody's legs were broken in the making of this film, I was just like, but
You felt that.
I felt that. I love Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. I'm just like, but can y'all please
Well,
do
what else
better?
are you watching, sister? You went to see The Little Mermaid. That's all
I'm
you got?
done. I mean, we are really over. So have been watching Working. I started Working on
Ah.
Netflix with
That
Barack Obama because Barack is our. I don't know what I would do if Barack Obama and I went grocery shopping,
mhm. And
but
he was
that's
right there in Jackson, Mississippi.
I know. I know. And so I watched that. I have been watching. I don't know how old this docu series is. It's on the Underground Railroad on Discovery Plus, and it has been fascinating. So it's like using sonar, ground penetration to find different pieces of the Underground Railroad. And let me just say that I was amazed at the part about I never knew anything about Underground Railroad. Like they said, everything has always been we've always been taught about it going north,
Mhm.
never about it going south. And so there was a connection to Mexico, and there was a black woman whose family, the Webbers are descendants of this black woman, and they have a family cemetery in Mexico. And to see her Mexican offspring, we are so much closer than we like to
Mhm. And where
pretend.
can that be? Where is that
It
airing?
was on Discovery Plus. I'll have to find the
Okay.
name and drop it in it, but it's about the Underground Railroad. And like I said, that particular episode was fascinating to me. And then what else? And then really old but Blackfish. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Oh, about the orcas here at the SeaWorld in Orlando?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. Mhm.
Child, let me tell you something. Y'all better stop playing.
And I don't
I
listen,
just saw they said somebody had just broke their arm. It just got revealed that the orca clamped down on their arm and broke it the other day.
but
I
did
was
you see
like,
the orcas attack some people's ships out there? And they like it and it looks like it's a coordinated attack. Orcas have been attacking ships out there.
no, but girl, when they showed the mama being separated from oh my gosh, and the sounds that they made, I'm like, y'all really separating these animals from their babies like that, and they
Listen,
crying
the
and you.
orcas are out here wrecking shop. It was a boat race in Spain.
Mm,
And the orcas was like, mm-mm. They grabbed onto the rudder of this yacht and was like, mm-mm. No, why are orcas attacking boats? Y'all just look it up. The orcas are saying, y'all done overfished. Y'all you in my territory now. You about to find out.
yeah, well, at the end of the day, like I said, they're called killer whales. It's in the name. Kind of like stop trying to play with the killer whales. Okay. All right. I think that is we have talked about a lot, sister.
We have talked about a lot. So as we said, folks, this is our dropping all those things in. So if you want to go watch any of the things that we talked about, please do. They're worth your time. If you want to just have a little mental getaway, watch some of that stuff. It's some really good, interesting things. Social commentary, political commentary, and really just life commentary. But you would
We've
tune.
talked about a lot of shows and people. We're gonna have to tag all these folks because they're gonna have to stop playing with Hey Sister. If everybody else can have become we
Come on,
we need
tag
to
them, y'all.
yeah.
Y'all tag them and y'all share. Y'all do what y'all do. Like, follow, share. Tell them,
Yeah.
hey, if they love you, you should love them back. And that's how we get this thing going and growing even more. But we want to thank you for watching our 2023 halftime show. Like I said, we're going on hiatus. We'll be taking a little break for the next few weeks. We're going to be coming back to you. Be on the lookout for different clips and snippets from previous shows. Make sure you're following us on our social channels so that you can continue to be a part of Hey Sister. We'll be getting all of this first half of the year uploaded on your favorite podcasting platform. So while you're driving, if you want to relive any memories, you can just play us in the car and laugh along with us. But we thank you for tuning in tonight, and we thank you as always for being a part of the Hey Sister family.
Yes, indeed.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.